tonight, after close to 2 decades, President John Mahama officially discontinues the long-running contract between the Youth Employment Agency and Zoomlion-YEA Limited, ordering future sanitation contract must go through competitive procurement. We have details as investigative journalist at the center of the cause for the termination. Manasseh Azure is calling for more.
It appears the government officials who have handled these deals have been compromised and they are not prepared to do what is right. It's been late, but better late than never, and all the same, I'm grateful to President Mahama that he's taken this step.
We will be speaking to stakeholders of the sanitation sector to understand where do we go from where we are now. All of that here on Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies. And we have more for you here. Do stay with us. Well, tonight, the plug has been pulled. After years of allegations of inflated payment and mounting pressure from civil society, the office of the president has officially discontinued the long-running contract between the Youth Employment Agency, YEA, and Zoomlion-YEA Limited. In a letter dated June 11, 2025, signed by the Secretary to the President, the Jubilee House ordered a full audit of all payment made to the sanitation firm after the contract expired. Now, the decision follows a petition by investigative journalist Manasseh Azure when it sent on April 27, 2025, demanding the termination of the contract. Cabinet, we understand by this letter, has now ordered that all future sanitation contract must go through competitive procurement process. And my colleague Faustina Safo joins me live with details of this particular letter. Fausti, what are the details of this letter?
Well, indeed, Brace. Now, according to this letter dated June 11, 2025, just as you have said, the contract between the Youth Employment Agency and Zoomlion-YEA has expired and will not be renewed. The letter goes on to state that, quote, all payments made to Zoomlion after the contract expiration will be thoroughly audited. No further payments will be authorized without proper verification, and any unauthorized payments will be recovered. Now, the letter notes that Cabinet has directed that future sanitation contracts be subjected to competitive procurement processing. Now, apart from just having like a national contract where that individual will then cater for all the regions. Now you have the regions and districts given the authority to also bid for contracts and then award the same contracts to individuals who they deem fit. According to government, this will reduce the cost because then you have competitive pricing. Now they go on to state in the statement that with probable cost savings, the government intends to increase sweepers' fees to provide a more livable income. That's one of the key concerns raised by the petitioner, Manasseh Azure, when he filed this petition to the presidency. He was concerned that the sweepers were being shortchanged by Zoomlion-YEA because of the cost of how much they were taking from government and how much they were actually paying to the sweepers. So that has been addressed in this letter. Now, when it comes to fumigation contracts, they end by saying that the contracts that have not performed satisfactorily will be renewed and reviewed and, where appropriate, terminated in accordance with the terms and conditions. And this, they say, they'll be doing it with advice from the Attorney General.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, Manasseh Azure himself has been reacting to this development. He spoke to my colleague on the pulse on JoyNews earlier today. He spoke to Darrell Kwao earlier on JoyNews. Listen to this.
The major thing Zoomlion has often said is that, well, these people don't work for up to 8 hours a day. And we all know sweepers. The multimedia group has sweepers, cleaners, some of whom come very early in the morning. Before we come to work, they are gone the ministry. That's how sweepers work. But the question is, if someone doesn't work for 8 hours, for which reason you think he or she should be paid 250 cedis a month, Why do you as a company take 600 cities to manage a 250 cities worth of work? And we are not looking at just one person, but you claim to have 45,000 and you take 27 million cities every month to supervise people who you claim don't work for that much. So this has been one of the issues. And also the company has been saying that the government doesn't pay every month. But it is instructive to note that this contract is such that the government doesn't pay for 3 months. Zoomlion charges interest on the arrears the government owes the company. Last year, for instance, it charged 90 million Ghana cedis arrears. That's the interest on arrears. So contractors can sometimes be owed up to 5 years or so, but Zoomlion, after 3 months, the government must pay interest on the arrears. And when Zoomlion delays in paying the sweepers and the government pays this interest, it doesn't translate to the sweepers benefiting from this interest. So it has always been a mess. The assemblies didn't have control or don't have control over these contracts. Remember, they used to be very effective even doing this in Summer concept. But when Zoomlion came, all of that was collapsed and they gave the contracts out. It appears the government officials who have handled these deals have been compromised and they are not prepared to do what is right because there have been enough pieces of evidence. Remember the JIDA report President Mahama commissioned in 2013, page 131 of that report, which is online, outlines the anomalies with this contract. So it is it's been late, but better late than never. And all the same, I'm grateful to President Mahama that he's taken this step.
This is still top story brought to you by Telecel Connect and Energies. Let me bring in Manasseh Azure because he has been at the center of this particular development for quite some time. He's been championing reportage on how this contract isn't one that a country should still hold on to. Manasseh, grateful to you for joining us. Now, do we know how much exactly this will save Ghana?
Well, it's difficult to say, but currently it costs about 38 million cedis a month to run this contract, and out of that, about 27 million a month goes to this company as management fees. And so, if you're looking at savings, if the third-party company is cut out, and I'm saying this because it isn't only Zoomlion. No third party is needed in this arrangement. All the districts have sanitation units that should handle this. So if the third-party companies are cut out, then it will save the nation 27 million cedis a month as management fees that would have gone out that the nation can keep. And that can be used for other things, pay the people better, provide machines for the assemblies to do their work, and all of that. So this is what we are looking at.
You followed this particular matter for quite some time. Set the basis, the background for us to all appreciate where we've come from to where we are today.
This whole thing started in 2017. I was with Joy FM. 2013. I was with Joy FM at the time, and I did an investigation titled the JIDA Scandal. This youth employment agency used to be the Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneurial Development Agency, JIDA. And that was the first time this contract featured in the news. After that investigation, President Mahama cancelled all the JIDA contracts. But this one survived. RLG, Zira Group, and all of those ones went, but this contract survived. Interestingly, this has been one of the worst. The MPP in 2016 held a press conference 3 weeks to the election and said this arrangement was fraudulent and President Mahama couldn't cancel contracts of that nature because he was personally benefiting from them. This was the MPP. Then 2017 January, Akufo-Addo started, and it escalated. So I have done quite a number of investigation stories and all of that till date, and it appears this has been the first time a government is acting on this particular contract.
Quite interesting there. But so now that the government is creating the indication or is well ready to say, I will not continue this contract, what do you expect government to do as it's set out to re-award sanitation contracts?
The sanitation contracts are many, and this is not the only shady contract that has been awarded to Zoomlion. This one has been running since 2006, and this contract is only for the sweeping, which every assembly in this country has the capacity to supervise. Note that before the JIDA scandal, Zoomlion's sister company called Better Ghana Management Service was managing other models under the Youth Employment Agency. 70,000 people under this same arrangement. Today, the YEA is running models with the fire service and others without having to go through a middle person, a third-party company. Which means that this can equally be done. Together with the YEA, every assembly can run this contract. So we don't need a third party here. There are also some very fraudulent fumigation contracts that money is paid through the National Health Insurance. When hospitals are starving, when nurses are striking, money meant for health insurance is given to Zoomlion. The District Assembly Common Fund pays, and then the local government ministry also awards a third fumigation contract. All of these contracts are not properly executed. Some are not done at all. But monies are paid. And I think that is what the president addressed. We should follow to ensure that those fraudulent fumigation contracts are off. We don't need them. The contract that they should be thinking of awarding to any company is the one that requires lifting of the refuse to the final disposal site. As we speak, not every assembly has a waste track. So if they want to award those contracts through competitive bidding, I wouldn't have any problem with that. But I have visited assemblies in 2017 when doing the Robin Assemblies documentary. I went to Takwan Swayim, and they were better managing the areas they were controlling than Zoomlion. So if all these monies are retained, every assembly can buy its own track and collect its refuse. So that if you go to the assembly and the refuse is not collected, you can hold them responsible. Currently, the monies are taken from the assembly to pay Zoomlion directly. But with this cheapest contract, no assembly in this country has a copy of the contract. They don't know what it is about. Their monies are deducted to pay. Whether Zoomlion does the work or not, it takes payment in Accra. And when you go to ask them why the assemblies are dirty, they tell you, look, we don't even know the people who are supposed to sweep here. And there is evidence that the Accra Metropolitan Assembly wrote in 2022 to the YEA to say that the sweepers and the Zoomlion, we don't see them. And the YEA also said, well, we don't also know them. So the assembly is forced to take its own IGF to employ people to sweep and then pay again to Zoomlion for these people who were supposed to have done the sweeping.
Double payment.
So now it is expected that every assembly should be able to award its contract, or those that they can do, they should. So that when we want to hold them responsible, there wouldn't be excuses that a contract is awarded to ABC, we don't know about it, we only pay.
Okay.
So this is the expectation going forward.
But do you expect that there will be some prosecution, along the line, this particular matter?
To be sincere, the evidence that I have, a first-year law student should be able to jail some people under these contracts. But knowing what I know, the political will may not be there. If people are supposed to be held accountable, you will find people in this NDC and NPP administration who are likely to be jailed. When it has to do with Zoomlion, I think this is one of the boldest decisions that a politician has taken. That company and its businesses are shrouded in a lot of corruption, but I don't sincerely believe that there is a political will either in NDC or NPP to want to prosecute when Jospon or Zoomlion is involved.
But if you say it's businesses, you're looking at the whole Jospon group. Will you be fair to say that all of its businesses are engaged in corrupt practices?
I said there are a lot of businesses within the Jospon group that I know that are engaged in these shady deals. I've personally investigated them. And when they sued me for defamation and I called them corrupt, I defended it and they ran away from their own suit. So I'm not saying this because I'm speaking with evidence.
Great.
And both the NDC and NPP, those who matter in governance, they know what I'm talking about. So there's evidence of wrongdoing.
Okay. I'm grateful
and
to you.
Both parties are implicated. So the point is whether there's that political will to prosecute.
I'm grateful to you, Manasseh, for joining us here. Manasseh Azure is the investigative journalist at the center of all of this. He called and wrote to the president for the contract to be terminated. But I'm bringing the vice chairperson of the Sanitation and Water Resources Select Committee of Parliament, Joycelyn, who's joining us. I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, you've heard this, that the president says the government will not renew the contract of Zoomlion. You've been in this committee for some time, but what should be the way forward as we try to get the country clean?
Okay, thank you very much. We on the sanitation committee carried out our duty as committee members and visited Zoomlion to assess the issues on the ground. We've gone to some communities, we've spoken to some stakeholders, and then have
Hello, do I still have you, Madam Kwashi? Hello.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes. Yeah, your line.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then have appreciated the fact that work done on the ground isn't the best. So to me, I think the decision of the president to have a policy shift, not to terminate, but a policy shift with regards to Zoomlion's contract is the best interest of Ghanaians. Now that about 80% of the common fund is being transferred to the district assemblies, I think the best thing to do, as the president has initiated, is to allow the districts to manage their own sanitation situation. I believe it's going to create more opportunities for the youth as well. In this case, they'll be able to tell who is the right person to do what. It wasn't the best to say that work will be done in probably North Dai or Fando constituency, and then somebody up here is just receiving the money. It was so disheartening when we heard that over 900 Ghana cedis was being paid for work done, and the workers, those who are really doing the work, are given less than 200 or 200 Ghana cedis, and even this one was not coming on time. So from where I sit, I think the policy shift from His Excellency is the best thing that Ghanaians need now when it comes to sanitation.
So from what you saw, is awarding it at the regional level the best or at the district level?
Awarding it to the district level, I think, is the best, because I belong to a constituency, I belong to a district. So even if Zoomlion itself wants a contract, a sanitation contract, Zoomlion should come to the district, have a conversation with the district chief executive, the stakeholders, and then work will be done at the district level. Because the districts are going to be widely involved. It's not just a region. The districts make up the region. So it should be brought down to the district level.
All right. I'm grateful to you. But let me ask you this before I let you go.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so you've said that Zoomlion can go to the district level to bid for the contract, right?
To bid for contract if he wants to.
Okay. And when it comes to auditing, because the presidency says there will be auditing on payment done. What should be the focus?
Can you come again, please?
I'm asking that the president said there will be auditing of payment done. And I'm asking from you, what should be the focus because you are on this committee?
Okay, so we are targeting the right thing to be done. They are paying people for work done. So if, for instance, my district chief executive and the right authorities decide that they are going to award a contract to so and so company, there should be proper monitoring to make sure that the people are doing the right thing and they are rightly paid for.
Okay.
Not just give a contract to somebody and then years to come, people are demonstrating on the streets saying that they have not been paid. And even when you go to the grounds, most of the people don't even come to work. So if there's going to be proper auditing, then there must be proper supervision to make sure that both parties perform the jobs well.
Okay.
Then there can be an auditing.
Okay, I'm grateful to you, Joycelyn Kwashi, for joining us. She is a member of Parliament and Vice Chairman of the Sanitation and Water Resources Select Committee of Parliament. I'll come to you, Collins Agyeman, but let me bring in Manasseh Azure shortly. Manasseh, so, I mean, if you look at it, should Zoomlion companies, or is it your expectation that they will still be able to get contract at the district level to execute in keeping Ghana clean? Do I still have Manasseh? Okay, I don't. Let me bring in Collins Agyeman. Collins, so Collins Agyeman Sapon is the procurement practitioner. From where you stand, what must be because we understand the subcommittee of cabinet will be drafting the procedure on which that these contracts will be awarded. How should it be done such that there will be that open competitive bidding for companies to bid?
Okay, first of all, I'll ask why at that level? Because we have our Procurement Act, which says that we have the districts, you have the regional, you have the ministerial, you have whatever. So why at that very high level that they are coming out as to what should be done and all? Okay, so you said that you have, I read the letter. You said you have some expired contracts, which they are still working. Yes, that one is not wrong.
Yeah.
If I am an advisor to Zoomlion, everything is straightforward. My contract can end in January. But if I still do work and you accept, then I put in my invoice and then you pay me. That's fine. Zoomlion is a business entity. That's there. So now, if you are saying that any contract that is expired, you're going to terminate, you are not terminating. The contract has already ended. So you are not.
They didn't use the word terminate. It just says they won't be renewed. That's it.
Okay. So now, if it will not be renewed. Every contract and contracts such as we have something we call termination clause. Okay, that termination clause will tell you end of the contract. Maybe I may have some equipment with you. So you sit down and you do the exit management plan, which usually it is embedded in the contract. So they need to do, if they want to prevent judgment debts, they need to sit down with Zoomlion and now get the exit management plan. Because for all you know, Zoomlion bought some equipment for some of the districts, okay, for them to deliver the work. So you cannot just say that you are terminating or you are not renewing, and therefore, so let's say street sweeper. I bought it last week. I used 1 million to buy, and I'm delivering, and I'll be paying this street sweeper machine over the period. Then you come and tell me that because my contract has expired, you are not renewing. Okay, how am I going to get my investment in that? So we should be careful. We need to have proper exit management plan. I don't know. I've not read the contract. If it is there, they should be careful.
Okay.
Payment. Why will payment be an issue?
Okay.
Okay. I have delivered the work. Okay. I've delivered the work. I have put in my invoice. Is it Zoomlion officers that are doing the payments?
Okay.
Is it Zoomlion people? So we need to get people who are skilled in place. Do we even have proper project managers that can measure proper cleanliness when we are clearing maybe the gutters and the choke gutters?
Okay, so that's from the procurement point of view. Let me bring in Kwesi Baini, who has been a DCE before. He's a former DCE for Hunter West. So let me find out from you, once this is coming to the district, what do you think is the best way for them to approach all of this?
Good evening, Samuel. The problem at the district is worse than the problem that you'll find anywhere. Look, if you take Hunter West, for example, it's a big district with about 132 communities. The only communities that you can find a Zoomlion working with are Agwankwanta, Apawa, Biscope, Abra, and perhaps
Unfortunately, I think we've lost Kwesi Baini on the line there. We've lost him. Well, that's quite unfortunate there, but because I wanted to find out from you, once the districts have been asked to reward the sanitation contract, how should they approach it? But that will be all for us here on Top Story. My name is Samuel Brace. Up next is Newsnight.